Welcome back. Today I want to show you how I'm going to cut these plugs down. Right now the plugs protrude past my board. This is going to be like a TV tray table. And the plugs protrude out an 1/8 inch past the board. So in the past I've cut them down with the Japanese saw, but I found that to be a little bit time consuming, and also found that it scratched the material a little bit. Not that bad that I can't sand it out, but you can see little scratch marks here, and I still need to sand that. So I'm gonna see if I can do it a little bit quicker today. I'm going to use my Porter Cable 690 router with a 1/2 inch straight bit, spiral up to help remove the chips. And I'm gonna take 2 blocks to raise this up above, and I'm gonna adjust the bit. I'll show you how I do that. I'm gonna take these blocks and I use double-sided tape, and I'm gonna put these kind of far to the outside to give me some room to move the router around when I'm cutting that. So I have some extra space in here to help me move that. We'll see that in a second. And then I'm going to adjust the base of the router so that the router bit is almost touching the material. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to set the router on here. I'm going to adjust the router a bit down, and I'm going to put a thickness of a business card in there so that I'm not going below the surface or too deep. I'll sand the rest. So the goal is make that somewhat tight. It's not moving the bit. So I'm just gonna be the thickness of that above. I wanna be able to put both hands on the router. So I'm gonna clamp this to the bench. These are the Festool, let me call them lever clamps, quick clamps, kind of. Okay, so that's secure. So now I need to make sure the router's in the off position, which it is, and I'm gonna plug that in. Make sure you wear some type of safety glasses when doing this, but the goal would be that I ride this over here, and you can kind of see why I separated those blocks a little bit, so that I have room to maneuver that back and forth. So you can see the router bit's touching, but when I slide that across, it's not touching the board. So I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna route this. First I'll put my glasses on, and here we go. You can see what happened here. I had a little whoops. I drifted off the side and the block started to not be supported by the board underneath, and the router bit went a little bit deeper. So I actually cut down into this, maybe a 30-second, that I'll be able to fix it, being sanding when I sand the top, but that was a bummer that I oops that. But that happens, so just be careful when you're doing these blocks. If you're not in the middle of a board on a larger surface, then you got to be careful, because I did whoops and drift off the side there. So the reason I did spread these further apart is because I didn't have much movement when they were too close, but now that they're so far apart, I did drift off. If I had those in closer, I wouldn't have done that, but when I was testing this, I found, well, I can only travel so far with it, and that's why I decided to spread them apart. So maybe these a little bit closer. You just can't have them closer than the protruding plug. Thank you for watching, and this should help.